I don't think I would buy these irons, and I don't think many of you would either. Let's do it, and let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. Welcome back to the channel. First things first guys, if you are new here, please make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button below. That way you won't miss any of the great golf related content that I bring to you guys every single day. And also, if you do like this video, then make sure you leave us a like. That way we know you're enjoying the content. Today we're talking Callaway Mavrik Pro irons. And although these look really good and they're a decent price, I'm not sure many people will buy them. Got to say, I absolutely love taking plastic off golf clubs. So I can hear what you're all saying already, guys. How can you judge something before you've even got it out the wrapper, before you've even hit it, before you've even tested it? And you see, I'm not picking on Callaway here. I mean, I have chosen the Callaway Mavrik Pro for this kind of title and this kind of video, but this is basically a review of the Callaway Mavrik Pro. But one of my big bugbears, I suppose, with manufacturers is when iron ranges get the same name as driver ranges and fairway wood ranges, and well, I just don't really see the point. I mean, these are jam-packed full of technology, and like I said earlier, they look great without trying to sound like Tony the Tiger. But for me, just call them something else. Right, how do they feel? A little bit right to start with, but felt okay. You see, I often think the same. I thought the same of the M6, the M5, the M3, the M2, the M1 irons from Taylormade. I thought the same of the Cobra Speedzone irons. I thought the same of the Callaway Epic Flash irons. And I feel the same about the Callaway Mavrik Pro irons. And I just thought I'd mention it because that was toey and it's done really well. Because I'm not sure if the name will put people off. So for instance, when you buy a driver you might replace every 3-4 years maybe. I mean, it depends who you are, it depends how much money you want to spend on golf and how in the current specs you want to be. But irons, for me, irons should last a little bit longer. Irons shouldn't be phased out when a driver's phased out just because it's, well, part of the same family. So we have these Mavrik Pro irons in 8 iron, 6 iron and 4 iron. It's got to be said, the 8 iron's going absolutely miles. I will put on screen now the lofts of these clubs. You'll see that they are pretty strong, but by no means the strongest lofts that you will see on the market. They are a cavity back iron as such, and there's loads and loads and loads of technology in here, which we will touch on. Obviously as well, there are more ranges in the Mavrik range of irons. More ranges in the Mavrik range of irons. There are more sets to the Mavrik range of irons. There's the Mavrik irons, the Mavrik Max irons, and these are obviously the Mavrik Pro irons. There's another thing. Pro. How on earth does the word pro make it onto these irons? That really baffles me. The words pro and tour are probably the most overused words in golf. Oh, that was bottoming. That was a horrible shot, to be fair. It's doing really well numbers wise, even when I put a swing like that on it, or like that on it. So we have mentioned that these irons are jam-packed with technology, and I will come on to that in a second, but the first thing I want to talk about is the looks. So the looks of these clubs, I can't lie guys, the looks absolutely awesome. Oh, I've left some plastic on here, we'll get that off. Ooh, did I tell you I enjoy this? Even in the kind of lower irons, so the 8 iron, the blade length is a little bit long for what I would like personally, but the top line is a really nice shape. It's not too thick, and the 4 iron, just to be honest, I could game the 4 iron anyway as a bit of a driving iron. And I honestly think they'd sell more of these if they didn't market them as a Mavrik iron to go alongside the driver. If they called it, I mean, they've got the Apex range, haven't they? So that's the set of irons, the Apex Pro, the Apex, the CF19s, but maybe just have a kind of secondary set of those. A bit cutty again. Right guys, we're going to move into the 6 iron of these clubs now, and the thing I noticed mainly about the 8 iron is, first of all, it's gone a long way, and second of all, it's not spinning very highly. I'm a low spin player anyway, I always say this in tests, so whenever you are testing clubs yourself, don't go on my numbers. I'd hope no one would anyway, but make sure you do test these golf clubs for yourself. Looking down at the 6 iron initially, again the blade length's just that little bit longer, which is something that in Callaway irons you don't see a lot of, because the blade length in all the Callaway Apex irons is, well, it's like that, but like that. sort of. So you definitely can see a bit of a benefit for choosing these irons if you want longer blade length, and they're definitely totally different to the other family of irons, the Apex. That was low out the face, and that's a 200-yard 6 iron. Wow. Right guys, so I've been beating around the bush about technology in these clubs. Let's hear what Callaway say about the Mavrik Pro irons. So apparently the Mavrik Pro irons defy convention with the all-new flash face. The new flash face cup technology is designed for exceptional ball speed and unconventional forgiveness. It is the first time that artificial intelligence has been used in the face to design for optimum ball speeds while increasing consistency. I can't memorise it, there's too many big words. The clubs do feature a tungsten energy core, and they also have tungsten weighting, which is proportioned differently in each head because you do want each head to react differently for different launch conditions. That's genius. That's something which I think Callaway do really, really, really well in irons. They did it in the Apex, they did it in the Epic Flash irons, Epic Forged irons. And the Mavrik Pro irons also feature urethane microspheres, I think I've said that right, for better feel. All that into a package that looks more like a player's iron. So really, there's a lot of good things going on in these clubs for such a small package. I mean, it says in a player's shape iron. For me, the blade length is probably a little bit too long to be classed as a player's style iron, but then I suppose if you are a player and you just want that little bit more confidence down at the ball, you want that little bit more forgiveness, these fit into that category perfectly. That's high right, gotta be. Got the high rights today. Ah! That's better. Oh, no, it's not. You see, and interestingly, what I'm getting here, I'm trying to shape a few shots, because with a 6 iron, I feel like, I'm not gonna lie guys, I have to shape a few shots because I find myself in positions that I need to, and the numbers are very similar to the 8 iron, which is worrying. Let's try and move one the other way. I mean, you can work them, which if they are claiming this is a player's style iron, that's exactly what you would want. Interesting. Right, let's finish off this test with the 4 iron. And I did say earlier that I could probably just sneak this in the bag anyway without using the rest of the clubs, because it does look, for a long iron, beautiful. You see, this is where I don't mind the blade length at all. If anything, it's really helping me get a little bit more confident because it's such a long iron. Top line looks absolutely brilliant. You can just about make out the kind of bottom line. Obviously, there is quite a thick sole on these compared to some players' irons, but obviously it is quite a low lofted 4 iron. So there is that. Right, let's place bets on numbers. I think about 220, 230 on a good one. And a bad one, anything above 100 probably. That's a good one. 225, finishing 230. Beautiful fade, spinning at 3.5. Yes, please. Oh yeah. Now it's funny because if you thought about going split set with these, and I just had that idea when I hit that 4 iron and absolutely nailed it, I don't really know where you go with it because they're too strong lofted to go kind of Callaway MBs, Apex MBs in the low irons. You could maybe go Apex Pros and then Mavrik Pros in the long irons, but then what happens when one gets superseded? Do you then complete half a set with the other set? See, this is where it gets frustrating. And I think my conclusion to this video and conclusion to these irons is that I have probably jumped the gun with the title of this video and with the thumbnail of this video claiming that you're not going to buy them, because that's just down to the marketing, and the marketing, unfortunately, in the golf world isn't really going to change too much because it's a business, because these companies are making money. And like I said earlier in the video, there's no way, I'm not picking on Callaway here at all, because all the brands do it, apart from Titleist. They're very good at not doing it. But I definitely think Callaway have done a fantastic job in creating this as a product, in creating it as an iron, because it feels great. It just performs silly long, really. The one thing I'd worry about is what would I do after a pitching wedge. I'd probably need a 10 iron, an 11 iron, maybe a 12 iron. But they're not really designed for someone like me, are they? Although they do say they're a player's iron, so I don't really know. Let's try and bust another one. Oh, this 4 iron is just silly. Oh, it feels so good, that. This could definitely find its way in the bag, definitely. Oh, I mean, look at that. That ball hasn't moved. It hasn't moved in the air. You know what, guys, we're going to hit one more shot and then we're going to call it, because I feel like I've seen enough of these. And, well, that'll bottom me. Nah, that's a 4 left as well. It's not a video without a 4 left, is it? But it's still done okay. So that was the Callaway Mavrik Pro irons. And apart from the marketing, which, to be honest, it's hard to say I disagree with, but to be honest, I just don't understand. How did they perform? Well, feel-wise, they're brilliant. Feel-wise, they're very, 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 very nice for what they are. They don't feel like a blade. They are a cast club. They're not a forged club. But it would be hard to tell that. Let's take a look at the numbers. So dispersion, this is the 4 iron, and until I opened my big mouth and said it could go in the bag, it was very, very good, and then we had just a really bad golf swing, really. This is the 8 iron. Seem to be leaking them all right a little bit, actually, so that could be down to the kind of blade length and being a bit slack with it, with not maybe thinking about the ball striking as much, but then I don't really like to blame the clubs for this, to be fair. It's just probably bad golf swings more than anything. And the 6 iron, see, I don't really know what I was doing with the 6 iron. The 6 iron numbers are going to be interesting. I'm not sure what the average will come out at. So let's take a look. So 4 iron at the top, average carry 217, 6 iron average carry 189. So it does actually leave a nice gap for around a 200, 205 yard 5 iron. And the 8 iron was a 166 club, which is a club longer than me normally. Normally my 7 iron is around a 165 club. So the loft and the technology can probably be to blame for that. Ball speed's all pretty high, spin rate's all pretty low. Just really what I would expect from a club like this for myself. And you see, guys, I think the biggest praise I can give these irons, the Callaway Mavrik Pro and the Mavrik range for irons as a whole, is that unfortunately I have no doubt they'll probably end up in rental bags across Europe, across America. Any companies that have big ties with Callaway, these are probably the irons that will be thrown into those bags. And I honestly think they're better than that. I think they deserve better than that. I think they feel better than that, look better than that. But unfortunately, the name, the marketing behind them, I really struggle to understand it. Would you just go for the Apex irons? Because you know they're going to probably last a little bit longer. They're not going to be outdated in a year's time, 18 months' time. I don't know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I have actually changed, in my head, I'm going to change the title of this video. I was going to call it The Irons I Wouldn't Buy and You Won't Buy. But I'm going to call it something like The Irons That I Wouldn't Buy and I Didn't Think You Would Buy. Because I think these are good irons. They deserve testing. Guys, thanks so much. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you do hit that subscribe button below. Leave us a like if you enjoyed that content. And as always, I can't wait to see you tomorrow.